I'm going to show you how the purchase order sync works between Luminous and QuickBooks today. So first, we're going to go into our Luminous instance. Next, we're going to click on the system settings. Then we're going to go over to the QuickBooks settings. At this point, we should have already added QuickBooks as a integration, as a channel. And if we want to turn on the purchase order sync, which will push purchase orders from Luminous to QuickBooks, then you toggle this on. For most of our customers, the purchase order is going to originate in Luminous. And if you'd like those to also live in QuickBooks, and maybe you can bill off of that PO in QuickBooks, or maybe you just like having the purchase order in both systems, this is exactly how that happens. So let's go and create a purchase order. So I'm going to create one for NutriCost. By the way, most of these core fields will push over. So for example, obviously the supplier, the order type. If the supplier, for example, if things don't exist, like if the supplier doesn't exist, then we will just automatically create it in QuickBooks. We make a lot of assumptions, and I believe we also push over the private note as well, the default shipping address. There's a couple fields that we don't push over, which we can film in a different video, or that can be a separate article. But generally, this is how it works. I'm just going to build a very basic PO. Let's add a couple of products. I'll add 5 products. I'll hit next and create. So unfortunately, at this point, we don't have like a sync status in the purchase order page like we do on the invoice page. It's something we'll probably build out eventually, but this, let's now go over to QuickBooks. Let's take a look at, let's refresh it. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, and then if you go to the expenses part of the sidebar, go to purchase orders. Now we will see the PO. So here we go. We've got NutriCost right here. So if I click on this, you can see the purchase order. So here are the 5 products that I pushed over. The amount is updated, the cost, all of that is. And what some of our customers end up doing is they'll copy this to a bill. It makes the process pretty simple. But yeah, this is how you can originate a purchase order in Luminous and how it pushes over to QuickBooks.